Hello, Common Ground. Greetings from the Blancals. We hope that you're doing well. We are fine. We are doing all of the safe practices and social distancing and all of that stuff. Um, in this interesting time, I've been putting some thought into, what's our role as followers of Christ in the middle of this, coronavirus. Things are different. We're in the middle of a social rupture where social norms and the things that we're used to doing our everyday lives are turned upside down. Um, I mean, People are walking the neighborhoods. I've probably seen more people today than I have any other day of living in this neighborhood. Um, but what do you do in the middle of a social rupture? What's your role as a follower of Christ? This is what I'm thinking about. I think about whenever the children of Israel were in exile in Babylon. Jeremiah had words for them in the middle of um, what was a social rupture for them, where they're being dominated and carried away by another country, having to live in exile. Jeremiah kind of says, "Hey, live your life." He says, "Build homes, plant gardens, marry, have kids." And he says this. He says, "Work for the prosperity of the city. The success of the city is what you're supposed to work for, because it's in the welfare of the city that you will find your own." Um, I think that's our role here as Christ followers in the middle of this coronavirus crisis. Um, be a good neighbor. Check in on people, especially in this time of isolation. Make sure that people know that they're loved, that they're cared for. Make a grocery run for that elderly or at-risk neighbor. Make sure everybody has TP. Just do those kinds of things that make people hungry for whatever it is that you have that allows you to be without fear in this time, that allows you to be generous in a time where people are stockpiling. Just be that beautiful person that allows the flower of Christ's love to grow up in the cracks in our neighborhoods and in our cities, that make them different because we live here, because we represent Christ's kingdom and His love and His power here in this place. Live that kind of beautiful life. Love you, Common Ground. Take care.
Luke chapter 15, verses 11 through 32. The parable of the prodigal son. And he said, There was a man who had 2 sons. And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of property that is coming to me. And he divided his property between them. Not many days later, the younger son gathered all he had and took a journey into a far country. And there he squandered his property in reckless living. And when he had spent everything, a severe famine arose in that country, and he began in need. So he went and hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country, who sent him into his fields to feed pigs. And he was longing to be fed with the pods that the pigs ate, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, How many of my father's hired servants have more than enough bread, but I perish here with hunger? I will arise and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me as one of your hired servants. And he arose and came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said to his servants, Bring quickly the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. And bring the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this my son was dead, and is alive again. He was lost, and is found. And they began to celebrate. Now his older son was in the field, and as he came and drew nearer to the house, he heard music and dancing. And he called one of the servants and asked what these things meant. And he said to them, Your brother is come, and your father has killed the fattened calf, because he has he has received him back safe and sound. But he was angry and refused to go in. His father came out and entreated him. But he answered his father, Look, at these many years I have served you, and I never disobeyed your command. Yet you never gave me a young goat that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came, who has devoured your property with prostitutes, you killed the fattened calf for him. And he said to him, Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. It is fitting to celebrate and be glad, for this your brother was dead, and is alive. He was lost, and is found.